Hello everyone, I am the Weather Dude. Welcome back. And today I thought it was the end of the hurricane season, but this tropical disturbance and sitting in the Atlantic is still spinning around. And we're going to be talking about today, potential for it to develop. So without further ado, let's get into it. Stay tuned for the whole video and enjoy. If you'd like staying up to date with the latest weather forecasts and updates, then please consider hitting the subscribe button below. Let's see how fast we can get to 2,000 subscribers. Also, to help this video's performance very much, please consider clicking the like button and sharing this video with your friends. Also, please consider watching the whole video. Thank you. Now let's get on with today's video. So yes, a tropical disturbance in the western Atlantic, northern Atlantic region. Chance of development, last time I talked to you guys about this a while ago, I think it was around either 10 to 20% chance. It is up to a 30% chance. It's been sitting there for a while. But notice that the 5-day development chance is 30%, but the 2-day development chance is 10, which means that this will more likely develop maybe mid or early to mid next week as opposed to within the next day or so. So it's sitting over the western Atlantic, and I did actually just do a video on the upcoming winter storm potential, so check that out after this video if you want to find out more about that. But we do have a tropical disturbance. This hurricane season it just does not want to give up. All right, and eventually, whenever the hurricane season does end, I'm actually planning on doing like a recap video of this season, going over all the storms and everything. So stay tuned for that as well. But still, this hurricane season does not want to give up here. We have a low pressure. Now, good news is conditions for this team do not look favorable at all. But considering how the season has been, this storm has the potential to acquire subtropical characteristics. And according to the National Hurricane Center, they're talking about development chances through mid to late next week, not early to mid next week. So Thursday, Friday, maybe could see some subtropical characteristics. This will be, as you can tell by where the storm is right now and the development zone, it will be moving a bit farther to the south, which means it will be acquiring some warmer waters than it's in right now. Latitude lines are something very important that we need to look at. So right now, sitting on latitude line 30, could be moving down as far south as maybe 25, maybe 23. And the farther south it gets, the lower that number gets basically, the warmer the water could get, and we could see this thing acquire some subtropical characteristics. Now, wind shear will be moderate to high, definitely. I think the dry air is going to be high as well, so that will help it. It will reduce its development chances, but it can still be subtropical. All right, you can see the little low. You can see the low swirl right there. It's moving its way to the south or southwest, and we have all the convection off to the east. All right, all the convection is basically detached from the storm system, and you could see it hook up with a front on Thursday, and that could help it develop as well. All right, and then we got obviously that energy from that storm that we're seeing right now over the Midwest and the East. All right, so again, you can see all the look at the clouds just drifting over the Atlantic Ocean. They're pretty peaceful, but there is a storm over here that does have the possibility to develop. And it doesn't look very good on satellite, I know, but it could develop some subtropical characteristics. And that meaning half low pressure system and half tropical system. Like, we could see warmer waters, but the wind shear and dry air may not be so helpful for this. So here's the water. There are some warm waters, and water temperatures are 1 to 2 plus Celsius above average. So that is one thing helping it out. But when you look at the actual sea surface temperatures, right here, the reality is let's face it here. It's end of November. It's almost December, and waters are getting a little bit cooler in general. If you look at the low, it's actually just to the southeast of Bermuda, actually. So it's sitting kind of like in this sort of region right here. All right, and really, the sea surface temperatures aren't even close to 80 at this point. If it does move a bit farther south, yes, we can see warmer waters, maybe water temperatures closer to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And of course, that does raise its development chances a lot. But there's not much heat content in this area. But the waters are moderately warm. They're okay. If you look at the FNMOC, the GEM model, the European model, all these models here, when you sum them all up, they do predict approximately a 50-ish, 60-ish% chance of development for the storm system, which that's a bit high in my opinion, but that there is certainly, I'm not saying this cannot develop, but it's got some challenges it has to face, right? For example, here's the dry air loop right here, and the low center is pretty much dry air is getting ingested in this thing, and that's really not good. All the convection off to the east, it's like sandwiched in between two massive areas of dry air, one over here. We got a dry air section over here. All right, so really, it's just got a tight pocket to develop. Now, when you look at the wind shear, when you take a first glance at it, you're like, there's a lot of shear. How can this thing develop? Well, actually, there's a little pocket, a little envelope of where this is sitting right now, and it's right in here. All right, and it's actually got a pocket of wind shear. It's actually around 20, less than 30 knots, and that gives it a chance. Also, these blue dotted lines mean that over the past 24 hours, wind shear has dropped 10 knots within the past 24 hours. So that means wind shear is dropping. All right, maybe it might start going back up soon, but it's a very tight pocket, but it's a very tiny storm center, so it could try and develop in this little area if it wants to. But wind shear is dropping, but it is still pretty high for the most part. All right, now the exciting part where we get into the three models, the GFS, the Canadian, and the European. All right, now here is the storm system. Again, subtropical characteristics. It's moving southward. Here's the GFS model right here. All right, moving north. And again, because that high pressure is sitting to the north, that's going to kind of take the storm and basically just like kind of like suck it on north. All right, it's like a vacuum cleaner, and we got a front pushing off that's going to ingest this thing as well. So it's going to get absorbed by a lot of things. And when these two combine, maybe a low pressure could develop up here. Maybe it could develop up in the northern Atlantic, like way in the North Atlantic. That's certainly a possibility as well. When you look at the cyclonic vorticity signature, you can see there is some energy with the storm system, but it's few and far in between. All right, and it definitely needs the warm water for it to develop, and it may not get that, especially how late in the year we are. But this is something to keep our eyes on, because for places like Nova Scotia, this could create some wave action for you guys. We could see Bermuda get impacted by this once it gets sucked north as well. All right, so here is the wind graphic, and here the low moves to the south, and then it does eventually get some tropical storm force winds as it moves here. The question is, how good are the conditions at that point? You know, does it continue to develop? Does it, you know, is the water way too cold? Is the shear way too high? All things we definitely have to consider. All right, so here's the gem model. All right, and again, you can kind of see the low center is kind of like it's moving away from this kind of like front that's dragged with this massive low up in Greenland. It's amazing like how this goes from Greenland all the way down to like past Bermuda, which is a big line of storms. Like literally, if you look at the line of storms here, like this is, I would almost say like 1.5 times the size of the entire East Coast of the United States. Like that's how big that line is. Oh, look, it makes a question mark. Anyway, so the low is going to kind of move. It's going to move apart. It's going to become detached from that front. It's going to kind of meander around. We do have a high steering it, and we also have a front, again, coming offshore. That's going to help steer it as well. So this will be moving up to the north, and the question is, can it acquire subtropical characteristics in time before the water gets too cold? There's too much dry air. The shear gets too high. All questions we have to ask ourselves. It's still significant considering we've had 30, I can't even keep track anymore, 30 or 31, I think 31 named storms this season. All right, which is a lot. All right, and I've been waiting to do the recap video, but the storms keep on forming, don't they? So again, here's the energy moving to the north. The pressurized lines are pretty close together, but does it develop that low center? I think that's the main question we have to ask ourselves. And finally, looking at the wind graphic with the Canadian model, again, there's a tropical storm force winds, but the question is it too late? And this could produce some big waves along the East Coast. This could produce big waves for Nova Scotia and Newfoundland as well. And the European model, finally, again, you can see the low pressure kind of isolates itself and moves pretty far south, which means it can tap into some more warmer water, but then it just gets like flung to the north at that point. Like it's out of here after a couple of days. So this summer we're gonna have to watch very closely. 30% chance of development. National Hurricane Center's been keeping on this they've been keeping an eye on it for a while, and this could be with us through the next 7 days. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Not the the top weather story right now, but something to keep our eyes on. I definitely thought it was worth talking about. We'll be getting some updates on the other winter storm as well. So thank you guys for watching today's video. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time, stay awesome, and I will catch you guys in the next video.